we will win. Because we will hit all game. We are motivated. We are dedicated. Come on now. Come on now. We will win. Because we are the best on the field. And we hit the field light, all day light, all night light, on the blue light, offense light, defense light, his squad light, house call light, and the sound light, and the sound light, and the sound light.
Yeah.
It's official. It's official. It's official.
Combine season is upon us.
I'ma do this here forever.
EQ.
Forever.
Try it.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. I'ma do this here forever. All you haters better be coming. This the day you've been waiting on.
Welcome to the Short Sports Show. I am your host, Daniel Short. Today is Wednesday, April 13th, 2016. And it's a bittersweet day. It's a bittersweet day, as we all know. History could be made tonight with the Golden State Warriors looking for their 73rd victory of the season. And the Lakers now losing a legend after a terrible season once again. It goes out on hopefully a good note, if at all possible, can go out on a good note for Kobe Bryant playing his last game in the Staples Center for the Lakers. And that's it. He's done. It's all over with. It's sad. It sucks. But Kobe Bryant playing his last game tonight at the same time as the Golden State Warriors trying to look for that 73rd victory, the most in NBA history in a regular season. Now, you know, a lot of people have made, I don't know why, they've tried to make a big deal out of it. What are you going to watch? You're going to watch the Warriors possibly win 73 games, or are you going to watch Kobe Bryant's last game? And should it be on ESPN? Should it be on ESPN2? Honestly, I don't understand why there is an argument. I didn't know it was so hard to pick up a remote and just switch back and forth. I mean, it's literally an arrow that goes up and then an arrow that goes down. It's that simple, and it's really not that hard to do. I don't know if people have just lost the I don't know. It's just stupid why we got to make it a big deal and not just switch back and forth. Because guess what? Even if Kobe was playing on ESPN and Warriors were playing on ESPN2, oh my God, you do the same thing. That's crazy. See how it works? Yeah. Don't understand why there's a big fight about it. Who cares? It's on ESPN either way, and just watch it. Because either way, you're going to watch it the same way, whether it was on ESPN or ESPN2. So we're going to talk about, obviously, those two games and what's at stake. We got some NCAA college football news, of course, and the NFL. Talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. What's happening with the Dodgers? I mean, God, the bullpen just... do we even call it a bullpen? I mean, it's just absolutely garbage. A little bit of baseball news. Obviously, is there something I'm leaving out? I feel like there's something I'm leaving out. Also, I got a video on YouTube right now. It is Kendrick Lamar's tribute to Kobe Bryant. Must watch. It is absolutely must watch if you have not seen it yet. Over 20,000 views on YouTube on my channel right now. Go check it out. It is the last video I have posted, and it is very, very, very good. It's an awesome tribute to Kobe Bryant. So, before we get started, of course, follow me on Twitter at @short_. Oh, whoa. Back up, old school. That is not the user handle anymore. Short Sports Show is the handle to use. Also, become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show, if you have not already. And if you're listening on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, Stitcher Radio, did I already say that? Everything else, YouTube. Be sure to like and share with your friends and family. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. And again, let's go ahead and get started with some college football news. And that just happens to be the NCAA once again going out on a limb. Now, I might be the one that's going out on a limb here because I don't believe it's a big... Well, I mean, it is a big problem. I'm not going to be that dumb. But, you know, it's not that big of a deal. So, The NCAA has shut down satellite camps effective immediately with a ruling Friday by the Division I Council that requires FBS programs to conduct all clinics at school facilities that are regularly used for practice or competition. Now, satellite camps, we've heard they've always been there. But over the past year, we've really heard of it because of Jim Harbaugh, what he's done with Michigan, and a couple of the other Big Ten schools going down to the South in Georgia and Florida, Texas, things like that, and hosting satellite camps. Now, Alabama head coach Nick Saban, he spoke out against the satellite camps this week in advance of the council's ruling, saying that the proliferation of the satellite camps could lead to dozens of camps annually in heavy populated cities. Now, he says, quote, "It sounds like a pretty ridiculous circumstance for me for something that nobody can really determine if it had any value anyway." That's what Saban told AL.com. Now, earlier this week, new Michigan athletic director Ward Manno, told the Associated Press he believes satellite camps are good for prospective college athletes. Now, of course they are. Of course, they are really good for people that may not have gotten noticed. And that's a key word, that they may not have gotten noticed. May. Because of the fact that we all know social media. We all know these recruiting sites that are out there. Some are free, some are you have to pay. Majority of them you do have to pay. But there's a free thing called YouTube. And if you haven't heard of it yet, it's been a while. It's been out there for a while. And athletes can put up highlight reels using Huddle or their own footage that maybe one of their friends or family members have recorded. You can use your phone. I don't know if you guys have noticed, the new iPhones, they now use 4K to record. So you don't have to get some crappy handheld camera that shoots at like 480p or something and you're worried about quality. There are some good phones out there that now can record pretty well. But anyways, this whole thing about, now athletes, it hurts them, it hurts the recruits that they can no longer get recruited. A kid in Idaho can't get recruited to a big time school like USC, maybe, if they hold a satellite camp up in the Pacific Northwest area. Or, a kid in Georgia might not get recruited by Michigan or something. Look, you're going to have that problem either way, whether you have a satellite camp or you don't, because not all the kids can go to those satellite camps. And honestly, we talked about it before when Michigan headed down to Florida. And, practicing and whatnot, and people are throwing a huge fit. Honestly, that's your biggest recruiting tool right there, having Michigan come down. That's a favor that any of those Florida schools were getting by Michigan. Because check this out. I've said this again before on my show, but in case you haven't heard it, if you're brand new to it, it's very easy. If you're a Florida school, and since you're trying to make a pitch to a kid that's looking at possibly Michigan, it's not going to be like FIU, FAU. You're more of a school like Florida, Florida State, Miami. You can easily say, look, Michigan, those kids have to come down here just for a week visit maybe, or however long it is, a couple days, or a spring break. They have to come down here to enjoy this beautiful weather, the beautiful women, the beautiful area that the state of Florida offers, for only a week. But if you come to our school, guess what? You have this 24/7, 365 days for the next 3 to 4 years that you attend our university here in the state of Florida. That is a huge recruiting tool right there. What is Michigan going to say? Oh, yeah, we have beautiful land. We got some good lakes. We only got about maybe 3 months of good season, but after that, other than that, we're pretty good. I mean, if you look, it's not even a comparison, the state of Michigan to the state of Florida. No disrespect to Michigan, but I'm just saying, I don't really care if they had the satellite camps or not. I don't think it's a big deal if they had them or they don't. Because what you were taught in this beautiful young world right when you step in is that you got to self-brand yourself. I said self twice, but you got to self-brand. You got to put yourself out there. You have to do what you can do. So if that means for a kid, instead of going to a satellite camp, he's got to make a highlight reel of himself and put it on YouTube. Start off with about 20 views or so, something like my show gets. And move your way up, and then that's when maybe you have a crazy juke, a crazy play, something that gets you viral. Next thing you know, you got 1 million hits, and you got schools looking at you. You don't know until you try. So, all these articles saying that, it hurts the recruits. Now they can't get exposed, and now they can't get viewed by one of their big schools if they're in North Dakota, and now they can't go to Texas or something like that. I mean, there's highlight reels, contacting coaches. There's so many other resources out there. The world is not over for recruits without satellite camps. It isn't. Does it hurt? Yeah, to an extent. I mean, it's not like it doesn't. I'm not saying it doesn't at all, but at the same time, it doesn't kill, a drive. And I mean, if you have that drive, you have that passion to get to the college football, you're going to make it happen either way, with or without satellite camps. There are a lot of major recruits that did not even go to satellite camps and still got recruited big time schools and or got recruited overall. And what you did from there is what you do. So that's what I say. The Big Ten, again, they were the only big Power 5 conference that was in favor of the satellite camps. So the SEC, the ACC, the Pac-12, and the Big 12 all voted no against the satellite camps. And among the Group of 5 conference, the Sun Belt and the Mountain West, they voted against, while the Mid-American and Conference USA and American were in favor of the camps. Another rule that happened, hopefully that didn't screw up, the NCAA also passed to postpone the use of electronic devices such as laptop computers and tablets, something that's been marketed so much by, obviously, the NFL and not really by the college football, but it's been picked up. That has now been postponed by coaches on the sidelines during games until 2017. So next season. The committee in March proposed allowing coaches use of electronic devices in press boxes and in locker rooms, but not on the sidelines this season. So the NCAA is once again kind of making a quirky deal here. Don't see what the big problem is. I think you're able to either have your playbook on here. There's so many things, obviously, the tablet can do. I don't need to go over that you guys would already know. It's just kind of a weird deal. They're saying, all right, we're just going to hold off one more year. You can have it up in the booth, but not on the sidelines. Not on the sidelines. You're going to have to go old school on the sidelines. And in a press release, it says it was decided more time was needed to develop guidelines that would allow consistent application of the rule, help manage the cost, and to provide time to see if any unintended consequences develop. Probably should have done that a little bit sooner, but whatever. So there's that. Did that turn off? I think so. I hope so. Let's see. There we go. Now, obviously I have to mess with my camera and whatnot. Texas and Notre Dame have agreed to move their season opener in Austin to Sunday night, which provides the Fighting Irish athletic director, he said would be a greater opportunity for fans of college football to enjoy what is sure to be another great game in a classic rivalry that dates back to 1913, end quote. With no NFL slated that Sunday, the schools are hoping for a national TV spotlight, though no TV commitments or kickoff time have been announced just yet. But it's not going to be hard to see that Fox or ESPN will pick it up, whichever one it will be. Hopefully it's not Fox. Fox Sports 1, I'm sorry. Watching college football games on there, some of the games, sometimes you just got to hit the mute button on that one. I don't know if I really like this or not. I think college football, just weekdays and Saturday. I understand there's no NFL on that Sunday. This is a big-time game, but it's not like Texas is really up there. Had Texas still been in the top 15 or so, and Notre Dame having the success they've had the past couple years, then I would have been like, oh, yeah, sure, Sunday night all by themselves. Cool. Should be a great game in Austin. Texas is probably going to get blown out again, and is that really a way to spoil a Sunday night? I'm still going to watch it, so I guess it doesn't matter either way, but it's just, you're still going to get a national TV spotlight on this game either way, And why can't you just do it on Saturday like everybody else? Oh, well. So they also said that the schedule provides a wonderful opportunity to play the game in an exclusive window so everyone can see it. So everyone can see Texas get their ass whooped again. Some bad news, though, for Illinois wide receiver Mike Duddick. He will miss his second consecutive season after again tearing his ACL in his right knee. Head coach Lovie Smith said Friday he's going to have surgery later this week, which just sucks because he suffered the same injury in spring drills last April and missed the entire 2015 season, his sophomore year. Now, back in 2014, this guy I completely forgot all about because he broke records. He was a really good receiver. He was freshman All-American. Illinois, obviously, Illinois' top receiver and offensive threat. He had 76 catches for 1,038 yards. He also tied College Football Hall of Famer David Williams for the Illinois freshman record of 6 touchdown catches. Man, this is tough. How he responds to this is going to be key to the way he gets everything back for him. Now, another big-time thing came out last weekend, and that was Texas authorities are investigating allegations by a woman who says she was sexually assaulted by former Baylor defensive end and NFL prospect Sean Oakman. Now, everybody knows the guy who only got his name through social media, and that was when Baylor played Michigan State in the Cotton Bowl, and he had his jersey up, showed his abs, had that crazy face mask, dark visor, and everybody's like, oh, this guy's a monster. He's like 6'8", whatever. This guy's tough. Well, and then he just sucks on the field when it comes to last season. Now, this is a big-time thing because Baylor has had 3 other athletes, not including Oakman, who in the recent years, in the past, maybe 3 years, 4 years, have dealt with or have been accused, or it did happen. They sexually assaulted women at Baylor University. So now this comes out. One of their top athletes that is going to the NFL now puts it way on hold. People were already questioning him because he really didn't produce last year like many thought. And with an okayish Senior Bowl, people still doubt him. And with more and more NFL teams now actually saying, all right, look, if they got any problems, we just cannot draft them because we don't know how they're going to end. And if they're ever going to get over it and step up and grow up, Josh Gordon. So what are they going to do? Now, Baylor, they on the other hand, they've really got a problem. I mean, how do you have 4 student athletes sexually assault women in less than a 4 to 3 year time span? It's just not good. It's just not good, especially when you're the largest, one of the largest religion schools for them. Not good. Not good. So I did have this whole thing. I was going to go through it, but it's just, we all know. Now, Oakman, who, of course, he's finished his senior season in December, has not been charged with a crime. His agent told the Associated Press on Thursday he was aware, quote, there appears to be the beginning of an investigation, and that Oakman was cooperating fully. Really? Didn't know it appeared to be. Good job. So this is what the woman said. She reported the alleged assault happened early Sunday morning, according to Waco police. The woman told the police she met Oakman in a nightclub and walked him to his apartment, where she said Oakman forcibly removed her clothing and sexually assaulted her. The Associated Press generally doesn't identify alleged sexual assault victims. So there's that. The woman told the police she was able to leave the apartment after she was assaulted. The advocate says the woman was treated for her injuries at the medical center where a sexual assault examination was performed. Investigators searched the apartment several hours later and briefly spoke with Oakman, who told them he had consensual sex with the woman but denied assaulting her. Okay, yeah, so Baylor is the largest Baptist university in the country, and now they face, multiple federal lawsuits and questions over if failed to act effectively against football players accused of sexual assault. It's crazy. In 2014, Tevin Elliott, he was sentenced to 20 years in prison. A year later, Sam Ukuwachu assaulted a former Baylor women's soccer player. He received a 6-month jail sentence. And now the school, they announced in February that they were going to put $5 million commitment to improve its response to sexual assault, and said it would add another investigator and administrative assistant to the school's Title IX office. $5 million commitment. And it hasn't done crap. Really. Now, Oakman, he's had his problems. He came to Baylor after being kicked off the football team at Penn State. And according to the Houston Chronicle, Oakman, who was already facing trouble with Penn State coaches, tried to take a sandwich and fruit juice without paying. Then he grabbed the wrist of the clerk who attempted to stop him. He told the newspaper, quote, "I was mad at myself. It was my fault. I let myself and my family down." He was also suspended for the 2015 season opener for unspecified rules violation. I don't know. Not looking good for Sean Oakman. And a Baylor spokeswoman said, "We will cooperate fully with any investigation." While, of course, we're going to try to delete any evidence so we don't look bad since we don't know how to do our job. Baylor University. Congratulations. Texas A&M quarterback Trevor Knight finished the Aggies spring game 25 of 36 for 282 yards and 2 touchdowns with 1 interception and rushing for a touchdown as well. His primary competition, Jake Hubert, left the game early and was battling flu-like symptoms. And the head coach, Kevin Sumlin, said afterwards that Trevor Knight is the starting quarterback going forward to start the 2016-17 season. That's Trevor Knight. Trevor Knight's got the job. He is the starting quarterback. Transfer from Oklahoma. And, you obviously wish the best. Unless you're a Texas fan, you don't care for A&M. I mean, I don't really care for A&M either. But, you wish the best for them. Trevor Knight showed success, and it seems like everybody, when they're saying, okay, well, he showed success when and they always bring up the Sugar Bowl game over the victory over Alabama, in which they absolutely dominated Alabama. And rightfully so. Trevor Knight played great. Thought he was going to be the main guy. Then Baker Mayfield steps on camp and says, nah, my job, my team. And also Trevor Knight just looked garbage when he did play for the Sooners last season. Comes A&M, picks up the offense pretty quickly, and kabam. Now, again, it is just a spring game. It is just a scrimmage. Already won the job, which is good for A&M knowing that, hey, we got a starting quarterback in place who most likely will not transfer from the program. Jake, on the other hand, who knows? He might. I feel bad for him. This guy has been beat, I believe, twice? He got beat by Kenny Hill. He got beat by Kyler Murray. And now he's got beat by Trevor Knight. I don't know. Just not looking good for Jake. Jake might just want to to get his degree and be an accountant or something. I don't know. Speaking of Kyler Murray, he was one of the stars in Oklahoma's spring game, going 6 for 10, 126 yards, and 2 touchdown passes while adding 7 carries for 43 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Now, he does have to sit out the 2016 season, but he can practice and be the scout quarterback. And obviously he already did, but he could participate in the spring game. Baker Mayfield, this is his senior year. This is his last season in college football. So Kyler's going to have to learn as much as possible from Baker Mayfield and watch as much as possible. So that way he can have the starting job, step up and lead that role. Because, Oklahoma might get a few other quarterbacks in recruiting, and Kyler, see if you're legit, see if you're real. Let's see if you're real. Stanford head coach David Shaw decided to give Christian McCaffrey a little bit of a break in the spring game on Saturday. He said, quote, "He went through all the practices. For me, it was just a mileage thing. We tried to make sure that we got him completely recuperated before we started beating him up again. Now, McCaffrey put up monster numbers last season, of course, rushing for over 2,000 yards and also catching out of the backfield, 645 yards, returning 15 punts and 37 kickoffs. I mean, he just did everything. We already know what he did. And obviously, he's one of the favorites for the Heisman. Him and Deshaun Watson, top 2 guys to win the Heisman coming up this season. And it's probably a good thing that McCaffrey sat out. I think he caught a few punts during the spring game. Yeah, he fair catch 3 punts, and that was all they got to see, which isn't a big deal. I mean, you're going to see him a ton. And anyways, you want to keep him healthy. You want to keep him fresh because, again, he does just everything. And you want him to, it's like a back and forth thing. You kind of don't want him to do everything because you want him to rest. You want him to be really good at one thing, but he's just really good at a whole lot of things. Returning kickoffs, I mean, he's just he's a dynamic returner, both kickoff and punts. Catching out of the backfield, he'll make you miss. And then when he runs the ball, it's just incredible what this guy can do, and it's a good thing he didn't really do too much. Some news came out, I would say, sometime late last week, really. Despite previously committing to Colorado as a graduate transfer, quarterback Davis Webb will reportedly has visited another Pac-12 school, and that was Cal. He took a visit to check them out, and he's also taking a visit to Auburn. So it's kind of weird. I feel bad for Colorado. I really wanted Davis Webb to go there because I kind of like Colorado, and they just suck at football over the past several years. And then when he was looking at Cal, I was like, okay, that could be that's a really good spot, honestly, for Davis Webb transferring out of Texas Tech, going to Cal. That could be a really good thing. Jared Goff is gone, but now, scouts are going there. Recruits are starting to pick up going to Cal. The ones that couldn't go to USC or to UCLA are saying, hey, Cal's a nice program. We can go over there. And it fits the system perfectly. Strong arm and can really work in that offense for Cal. Then he looks at Auburn, and yes, much bigger school, but honestly, Davis Webb, that's not the best place for you. You're not really too much of a mobile guy, and honestly, you don't need to be. It's just going to knock you down. If anything, it's not really going to give you props. Oh, he can run too. No, just show them you can run if you get to the NFL. Go to Cal, throw the ball, and put up big numbers, and just say, look, I can do the same thing too. And I think he also has 2 years left in him. I could be completely wrong, and maybe it's just 1 year. But that could be an option too, to see where he goes. But I mean, you look at Cal, you look at Auburn, you look at Colorado. Colorado's obviously at the bottom. It's a rebuilding program, and if you're going to look anywhere else, Cal's not a bad spot. The NCAA is considering allowing athletes to sign endorsement deals, which is a huge thing if that can happen. If this can happen, it is a very, very big thing. And this would take a ton of pressure off the NCAA. It would take a ton of pressure off the NCAA. Obviously, we want athletes to get paid. The universities are all making multi-million dollars off of these athletes selling jerseys, selling just about anything. And this would be a great way to get athletes paid. Now, is it the fairest way? No, because you're not going to have a kicker or a punter or third string, or second string offensive lineman, or even some offensive linemen get any endorsement deals. But this could be huge for the bigger guys, which is the ones that are usually making a ton of money. And the NCAA could say, look, it's up to you. We're giving you a free education, and they give you all those pros, and then when it comes to the cons of not paying you, look, that's up to you. How much work you put in and how talented you are on the field gets you paid. That's not our job. That's what they could possibly say. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that's what they could say. And Big East Commissioner Val Akron told SI.com that the NCAA is discussing the possibility of allowing athletes to sign those endorsement deals. This is what she said.
What about the idea that athletes would be able to go out and get endorsement deals? If you are someone who is valuable to the marketplace, perhaps more than another student at the university, why not be able to capitalize on that?
That's one that's actually under consideration, I believe, by the NCAA. It's actually, a time right now where student-athlete interests are being closely examined. And, I don't have an answer for you on that one today, but I will say that and a number of other topics are under review, and I think rightly by the NCAA, and it's very possible that over the course of the next year or two, as these ideas work their way through the legislative system, you could see changes.
Now, current NCAA rules prohibit athletes from being paid for their image or likeliness without forfeiting their amateur status, which then, you are no longer in college football. This change would take, again, pressure off those NCAA and the individual schools when it comes to determining which players, if any, should be paid directly instead of now allowing the endorsers to determine which players are marketable and seek them out individually. Big thing would have came, for an example, Kyler Murray, big-time guy, wins Gatorade Player of the Year, I believe he won the most games as a starting quarterback in Texas high school football history. That's a huge marketing deal. A&M could have helped, made a lot of money with that too. Kyler Murray could have made a ton of money. And then he's got his baseball thing going for him. Huge thing for that as well. I like it. I think this would be a great start for athletes, but it is, I don't know if I should use the word unfair or not, but there might just be one or two athletes on a team that gets an endorsement deal. And again, it could be anything. I mean, there might be mom and pop shops that say, hey, we'll sponsor you or we'll endorse you. I don't know, because it's going to be hard because it's like, well, you can't really put anything on their jersey or their helmet and on them when they're playing because the school's not going to allow it unless you're paying the school. And in that case, maybe. But then again, they might say, well, let's hold up on that. You might, if it's going to be a shoe deal with some random startup shoe company, then you can wear that when you're on campus, so on and so forth, but not when you play. And that's probably going to be one of the big things they're trying to work out as well. We'll just have to see. But I do like this deal. I do like it. Let me know if you like it as well. I think it's a smart start. There's going to be some kinks that got to work out how fair it's going to be, because not everybody's going to get an endorsement deal. What are they going to do? Are they actually going to put ads on jerseys like the NBA might do, which we'll talk about later? Will they do that? But then it's so many other things. But I like it. It's a good start. It's a good way so athletes can get paid. But we'll just have to see. Let me know in the comment section if you like it or not. Tweet me at Short Sports Show and become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. So, obviously, we talked about Trevor and I didn't write down the stupid time. I think we started like 28 minutes or so. I think so, somewhere around there. Also, Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney, they have agreed to a new 6-year contract that will pay the coach more than $30 million. The school announced yesterday. Quote, this new contract was important for us, not only for what Dabo has accomplished in his 8 seasons here, but for what we know the program will continue to achieve, both on and off the field for the foreseeable future, athletic director said in his release. Now, the deal is for $30.75 million, with more than $1 million allotted for retention bonuses. He would get $600,000 if he's still with the Tigers on New Year's Day in 2019, and $400,000 more on New Year's Day of 2021. And he gets some crazy bonuses, guys. Let's see. I want to go to the main stuff. Should he decide to leave Clemson, though, after this season, after 2016, he will have to pay $6 million to the school, an increase of $1 million over his previous agreement. His buyout would be $5 million in 2017, which is $2 million more than under the old agreement. The buyout decreases by $1 million each season after 2017. And he can also earn $900,000 in incentives if the Tigers win the national championship. He'll get $400,000 for making and winning the college football playoff semifinal. So big-time money for big-time coaches in Dabo Swinney. He gets $30 million if it all pays through, which is not a bad thing. And Clemson They also unveiled some nice Nike uniforms. They're going back. They used to have the paw on the sides. They're now going on the top of the shoulder, and the numbers will go on the sides. It's nothing too different on their uniforms. You could check it out on their Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages for Clemson. It's really nice, though. Nothing, again, no major changes. It's just looking like what they had back in their 1981 National Championship uniforms. This isn't just going to be a one-time thing. They're wearing it all season, and I believe from here on out they're going to be wearing those uniforms. But they are nice. They are nice. And if I could get the video, I would have posted it, but I couldn't. It wouldn't let me. Also, Ohio State spring game. This is the last college football news, and it transitions right into the NFL. Ohio State spring game this Saturday will include a tribute to former Buckeyes and New Orleans Saints defensive lineman Will Smith. They're going to wear a helmet sticker, WS. I believe they should wear it all season long. I think it'd be nice to have one sticker on every player the entire season, maybe all the defensive players, something like that. But it's only going to be for the spring game. Could always change. But for the spring game, they will wear it. And as we all heard on Saturday night and early Sunday morning, a former defensive end, Will Smith, was shot to death in New Orleans in the Lower Garden District on Saturday night following a traffic collision. He was 34 years old, has 3 kids, and his wife, who was also shot twice in the leg, will survive. But it's just not that good of a thing. Now, most articles said that the Hummer hit the Mercedes, which possibly could have happened. Now, they did show a video. It was released yesterday. The video was released yesterday of how it all started. Now, obviously, when we didn't have any video evidence, and we just heard that the Hummer, which is the guy Cardell Hayes, drives the Hummer, that he re-ended Will Smith's Mercedes SUV. And so we're thinking, okay, what's going on here? It's actually, if you watch the video, it's a baby tap, but they come to a stoplight, and Will Smith, maybe he was on his phone, I don't know, but he barely baby taps the back of the Hummer. And so the Hummer's like, okay. So he pulls off to the right side in the right lane, last lane, and to pull over, like you normally do when there's an accident, because he doesn't know what the damage is. He knows it's a baby tap, but he doesn't know what the damage is. So he pulls over to the right side, but then Will Smith and his Mercedes, kind of recklessly, turns out to the left, and they're in the middle lane. So he goes to the left lane, swerves around him, and then starts driving. And so the Hummer, he pulls out too and tries to follow him and see what's going on. Like, basically, it's a hit and run. You can't do that because he ends up driving. It's not like he drove ahead to get to a better parking spot. No, he drove as if nothing ever happened. So the Hummer follows him, and then they turn left at an intersection, both of them, and then that's it. We don't have any more footage. The camera, obviously can't go that far, and so we don't know what happens. Now, obviously, that's a stupid mistake for him to do, to just drive off. At the same time, doesn't mean that if they get into a verbal altercation, that doesn't mean for anyone to pull out a gun and just straight up shoot somebody. That's just the stupidness of our society right now. That's the first thing we got to do if someone gets angry or if someone feels like they got to fight or get tough. Let's just pull out a gun and start shooting. That's just where society is, sadly, right now. And sadly, Smith was shot multiple times and was pronounced dead at the scene while his wife was taken to the hospital. Now, there has been something, it's not a rumor, it's been confirmed by multiple sources that Will Smith was having dinner with a cop, or a former cop, who apparently was the same cop who shot and killed Cardell Hayes' father a few years ago. And during an incident that happened, it wasn't like he just purposely shot him. There was a call or something like that, and it resulted in a shooting for the cop. So there's been talk about maybe Hayes heard about there was a dinner, and so he tried to find maybe Smith. But when you get that video evidence, it doesn't look like it would be like, all right, well, you killed my father, I'm going to take out your friend who happens to be, and also a football player or something. It doesn't look like that anymore because it kind of was Smith's fault for hitting the car and then driving away. Again, that doesn't mean anybody should get shot. It does not mean that. But it's also, just shouldn't have just drove away. That's basically it. Just drove away. Now, 4 years ago, Smith tweeted, quote, "Wow, 20 murders in 26 days. New Orleans, please stop the violence." And it's crazy. Now, Smith, apparently, some news has picked up early this morning, late last night, that he did have a fully loaded pistol in his vehicle. He did not use it, did not get it out of his car, was not fired at all, but he did have it in his car as well for protection. Now, if you haven't already heard, Tyrann Mathieu, Arizona Cardinals safety and former LSU football player, if you haven't heard his interview, and he's done multiple interviews now, but the main interview that's so powerful and really speaks the truth and needs to be heard by more people. Now, obviously, I don't have a huge audience, especially nothing compared to Rich Eisen's show. But if you haven't heard his interview with Rich Eisen, please go listen to it. You can download it on iTunes. You can listen on YouTube. They have a video of it on YouTube for Rich Eisen's YouTube account. It is a must-hear. It's must-hear. It's about 14 minutes long, but it is definitely worth hearing. None of his other interviews. Don't just go to his interviews on Fox or wherever he interviewed as well. Don't go on there just yet. You can listen to those later, but listen to what he has to say on the Rich Eisen show. Listen to that. Very powerful, very emotional, and very shocking to some, and what the life is like now in New Orleans and how it is and what needs to be changed. Very, very, very emotional. Please go listen to it if you haven't already. Moving on to Denver Broncos, they've agreed to trade four-time Pro Bowl offensive tackle Ryan Clady and a 7th-round pick in this year's NFL draft to the New York Jets for a 5th-round pick and also this year's draft. Now, obviously, this comes after Ferguson's, who announced his retirement from the Jets in his 10-year career. And now the Jets get another guy who, when he's healthy, Clady's a Pro Bowl tackle, an offensive lineman. But he hasn't been so healthy. I mean, and he's 3 years younger than Ferguson, but he's missed 30 out of the last 48 games because of foot and knee injuries. He tore his ACL on May 28th in offseason workouts that saw his entire Super Bowl season gone. He just watched from the sideline. Then he suffered a severe Lisfranc injury in Week 3 of 2013 season and was placed on season-ending injured reserve, missing the Broncos Super Bowl run that season. So Broncos are looking at, look, we went to the Super Bowl the first time you got hurt, got crushed, but we went to the Super Bowl. Second time you got hurt, we went to the Super Bowl and we won. So I don't want you anymore. I don't want you. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal for them. Let's see what else. So Johnny Manziel. What's going on, bud? Obviously, they said the Broncos and Manziel were linked, and I don't think it's happening anymore. Manziel's done. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys have heard it for the past couple of days. Manziel is done. He is done in football. He's just no way anybody's going to take a shot on him anymore. You can't. Now, so let me just see where I want to start here. So much. Von Miller, he's been saying that I don't believe Johnny Football's days are over in the National Football League, quote, end quote. And he says on Mike and Mike, I think it is. This is what he said in an interview with one of the local TV stations. This is what he said.
Is your thought on Johnny, and what would it be like if you had another Aggie on the Broncos?
I mean, if I had to make my decision on it, he would already be with the Broncos. But yeah, I mean, we got guys in the front office that make those decisions, and they put us in a championship. They put us in championships with those decisions. So I'm just gonna follow those guys and have those guys take the lead.
Now, during a February interview, Miller said, quote, "If you write them off, you're wrong. They wrote me off 2 years ago, and look at me. where I'm at today. I just want him to know I'm supporting him no matter what. Okay, true. That was in February. This is now April. And Von Miller, it's a little bit different. You were told the first time and you fixed it. Manziel has been told ever since he was in college, and he might have even been told when he was in high school. We don't know when he was in Kerrville. But in college, he was told, okay, maybe he's too much of a party guy. Especially after his freshman year, we're like, hey, settle down. He settled somewhat down his redshirt sophomore year, and settled down a little bit, went to the pros, hasn't settled down since. It's just one thing after another. Miller, you were told maybe a couple times in that one season, and you fixed it. Manziel's been told multiple times, at least for the past 4 to 5 years, to settle down. His father came out publicly to say, I am worried about my son, that I'm one day going to get a call that he is dead before he is 24 years old. When that happens, usually that should hit a click real quick in somebody saying, my dad is worried that I'm so out of control that he thinks he's going to get a phone call one day that I am dead before I'm 24 years old. That should say, look, there's something seriously wrong. I need to change. Nothing's changed for him. Nothing has changed. So he goes out Saturday night again. Apparently he's been out 5 nights in a row to the same bar or something like that. How is that saying, I just want to play, I just want to ball? No, you don't. You just want to blow all the rest of your money, and if you die, you die. Whatever happens, YOLO, you're friends with Drake. Who cares? That's it. That's really it. And so he says that, quote, this is what he told TMZ on a video, and he slurred, so he's most likely drunk. Says, quote, I'm living out here with my guy Von Miller. Everybody knows Von Miller. Super Bowl MVP Von Miller. My brother. I'm living with him right now. We're getting our lives together, bro. He's got his life, Manziel. In case you haven't noticed, Miller's got his life, and it's going pretty damn well for him, and everything's been up for Von Miller so far. For you, on the other hand, you don't have a life. You do not have a life. You are slowly crumbling down. Actually, more like quickly crumbling down faster than any athlete we've seen in several years. And it's kind of weird. You can't really label him a bust because, Jamarcus Russell, he was a bust. He just didn't play that well. Manziel, he just quit mentally and physically and gave up on football. Then he makes a report that, no, I'm not living with Von Miller. I'm living with Josh Gordon. Well, apparently last month, Josh Gordon now failed a drug test. Again. So, and then another report later the next day, yesterday, comes out, says he's not living with Josh Gordon. He's not living with Von Miller. We don't know where he's living. I think there's one report that even said he was living with Drake. All right, no, that's Odell Beckham. Never mind, I'm stupid. I mixed it up. Odell Beckham, you need to get it together too. Eli Manning already called you out. If Eli Manning calls you out, that's pretty bad. So Josh Gordon, who's already suspended the 2015 season and was looking to be reinstated this year, now has to wait 60 to 90 days of no red flag test so he can possibly come back. This is my problem. And then he took to Twitter on it. He said, call me if you need a story worth writing. You can reapply on August 1st. This is my problem. You have failed multiple drug tests multiple times. And again, you've had the same problem that this didn't just happen when you got to the NFL. This happened when you were in college at Baylor. You were in trouble too. Now, he was initially suspended for the entire 2014 season for testing positive for marijuana because he failed multiple times before. The penalty was later reduced to just 10 games. Gordon also had to sit out the 2 games in 2013 because of a failed drug test, which he blamed on a prescription of cough medicine. After Gordon pleaded guilty to driving while impaired on July 5th of 2014 in North Carolina, he was required to submit an alcohol testing under this on the third stage of the league's mandated program. Gordon said he drank on a flight to Las Vegas a few days after 2014 season ended and failed the test. Gordon had assumed any restrictions ended after the season, but he didn't clarify that with the league. He also sit out 2 games of 2013. All right, I already put that. But anyways, he didn't he led the league in 2013 with 1,600 yards despite that suspension. I don't know. When is it okay to just say, no, you're done? Now, this is my problem. You're going to say, okay, well, now we're just going to give you 60 to 90 days saying, hey, just keep it clean till then, and we'll get you back in the league. Then why'd you suspend him all these other times after the multiple drug tests? If you're going to say, okay, well, he didn't learn the first 2 or 3 times, we're going to punish him pretty hard. But after he hasn't learned for the 4th or 5th time, we're going to let him pass. When is it okay after just to let it all go? To me, I'm thinking you're done. Till you can get an entire year clean, then you can come back. Because what example does it set for other athletes? Look, he failed multiple times, and they let him right back in. So if I want to go smoke weed, I get caught. All right, they're going to suspend me. I'm going to say, hey, Roger Goodell, NFL Players Committee, give me 60 to 90 days. I'll be clean, and let me come back and play. Oh, sure, yeah. What kind of example does that set? Especially to younger athletes. Everybody's saying, oh, Josh Gordon's a really good guy. When you listen to him talk, he's going to change. He's really good. If that's true, then what is this? Why is there another failed drug test? Why can't he learn after multiple times? Does he have a problem? What is it? Then we need to get him some help to get this problem done. I don't care if you believe marijuana is good for you. I don't care if you believe it's bad for you. These are the NFL rules. If you cannot play within them, you should not be given the opportunity to play. It's that simple. Especially after multiple times. This guy potentially could have been suspended for the entire 2014 season. He was already suspended for the entire 2015. He could have been suspended for the entire 2016 season. We're looking at a guy who could have been suspended for 3 entire football seasons, the entire year, 3 years in a row. We're about to say, hey, it's okay. Come right back and play. Just give us 60 to 90 days of clean. Why is that okay? What are we telling younger athletes? Hey, smoke weed all you want. You're still going to be able to get a chance to play in the NFL. And we have all these concerns about Robin Condici's off the field after that incident that happened with the weed in his hotel room. That shouldn't be a problem anymore. We should say that's okay. It's wrong. It's bad. It's stupid that this is happening. Josh Gordon, I know everybody's saying, hey, we feel sorry for you. We believe in you. I don't anymore. If you cannot learn after the second time and make this 4 or 5 times that you still cannot learn how to pass a drug test, goodbye. You should not be given an opportunity to play anymore. You're taking up someone else's roster spot who is clean and is trying to, earn a living for his family. I mean, and for people that are in favor for him, let me just hear this. Just hear this and let me know your response. I'm going to end it with this real quick. If you had a job, whether it's your normal job right now, a job that you desire, or an NFL spot, if there is a guy in your same position who's ranked higher than you or he's above you, and he continues to fail multiple drug tests, fails multiple times, not 1 or 2 times, multiple times, multiple years, he keeps getting the benefit of the doubt while you're over here trying to work hard, but it's possibly going to take a roster spot from you. It's possible spot you might get cut, might get fired because we need a roster spot. We're going to keep that guy because he was productive 1 year, but he's got all these other problems. You're going to be okay with that? You're okay with the pay cut? You're okay with losing your job? Let me know. Let me know right now. I love it. I'm heated. I want to know. I want to hear it. Answer that question. Answer that question, because guess what? It's going to happen to one of the Browns or multiple Browns receivers, because he's going to end up playing in 2016 after failing 4 or 5 drug tests. I don't even want to talk about this, stupid Patriots fans. I don't want to talk about more stupidity. Patriots fans, they try to sue or whatever the NFL to get them to get the draft picks back for the first round and others. Just shut up. You're stupid. You wasted money. What else should we talk about? Let's talk about something positive that's happening. Let's talk about a little bit something positive. We're already about an hour in and we still got more to talk about. Launched in 2014 with the backing of the NFLPA, a study by Harvard is pursuing a parallel research that tracks involving ACL repair, joint brace technology, cardiac care, and a variety of other health issues in the NFL that players might encounter during or after their careers. Main thing is, because this was also part of the concussion thing that was going on back in 2014, the guy said, quote, "It's not a concussion study, but the concussion is a part of the problem that people have identified as being one of the grave concerns," end quote. But the main thing here is that they are going to help regrow a torn ACL in a human knee. Pretty crazy. Pretty freaking crazy. So check this out. So rather than replace it with tissue from another part of the body, the current procedure is effective with rehab, but it carries high risk of arthritis. The new procedure, which would bring the torn ends of the ACL and regenerate it within the body, would theoretically reduce that risk. Quote, growing ACLs out of nothing is awesome. And you're going to be able to see guys come back from ACL injuries at a much more significant quality because they won't have been having another tendon from somewhere else put in its place. It'll be a full ACL. And also, there have been other successful ACL repairs on humans in this study. I don't think they're at that point now where it's going to be common practice in hospitals, but we're on that road, end quote. That is who New York Giants linebacker Mark Hurrah, who is an NFLPA executive board member and is also an executive board member on the Harvard study of this case. Huge news. I think it's something that hadn't been picked up by a lot of people, and I saw it, and I just had to get it out there because this is really, really big. It's a big deal, and this could be something. Everybody wants to talk about concussions. Everybody wants to talk about, what's happening with CTE and stuff. Let's talk about something else that's also happening that is productive, not just bashing football. Let's talk about something that could really help and really change the game for all sports and ACL tears. Bengals head coach Marvin Lewis, he agreed to a 1-year extension contract through 2017, yet he's hasn't won a playoff game. 7 years to the playoffs, hasn't won one. Ouch. Jaguars cornerback Aaron Colvin, he's now been suspended for 4 games for violating NFL policy on performance-enhancing substances. Let's see what else. What else do I want to talk about? Last thing. One more thing. The NFL's China experiment was supposed to happen in 2007 in advance of Beijing Olympics. Billed as the China Bowl, the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks were scheduled to play a preseason game in Beijing on August 9th of 2007. But fearing it wasn't ready to hold a game half a world away and knowing it might get only one chance to attract Chinese fans to a sport they didn't really know that much of, the league punted. They said, no, we're not going to do it after all. Bring it back. So, they decided to go to London, have that game, have that going on. Well, now this season, the NFL will play 3 more regular season games in London, bringing this total to 17 games there since 2007. There will also be 1 regular season game in Mexico City in November. And by 2018, the league expects to make a long-delayed debut in China with a regular season game. I don't like that. No disrespect to China. If I'm a player, I don't want to go all the way over there. How are you going to do it? If it's a preseason game, maybe it works out. Maybe. Because you got to think about it. You're going to need a bye week beforehand and a bye week after the game. It doesn't happen. The NFL is going to have to make some scheduling changes if they want to go across the country and play in every single country once a year, because for a player, this is already too much. It's already too much traveling across the country and playing a very physical game, and then next week doing the exact same thing again. And you're wanting to play more games. You're again now really across the country, across the world. You want to play a game. You now want to increase having playoffs, an extra round of playoffs. That's another wear and tear. How are you going to do all these things? The scheduling has to change in the NFL. It has to change. Now, executives from the Green Bay Packers and the New York Giants, they don't want this. Saying with so much at stake each week, there are concerns that flying half a day or more each way could put a team at a competitive disadvantage for that game and beyond. And while they're only looking at what happens with their record, you got to think what happens with their mental psyche and their physical body. It's just too much to be doing all that and wanting to play more games and wanting to do just way too much stuff. It's stupid. I understand they want to just make out all the money they possibly can and milk it all out. But this is just not good. Should not happen. Should not happen. Now, the Los Angeles Rams, they are expected to be one of the teams to play in China. Good luck. Roger Goodell said in March that the league has, quote, multiple teams that are interested. I don't know. I don't really think so. I don't think so. When they find out that it takes away a home game from them, or it takes away, it takes an away game away from them, but they got a bye week, maybe messes up their schedule. I don't know how you can do it. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I am not a fan at all. Let's move over to the NBA, where owners are scheduled to vote this week on putting ads on jerseys for the 2017 and 18 season. Multiple sources have told ESPN. The measure is expected to pass, according to sources. Several teams have begun testing the market to sell the potentially lucrative ads, which would be placed in a 2.5 by 2.5 inch patch on the left shoulder. Now, this was presented to the owners in February during a meeting during the All-Star game in Toronto, and it's now going to be voted on and most likely passed. Now, a lot of people when you first heard about this last year, or past couple of years, thinking about ads, you're thinking it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be like some of the Europe, other countries that play basketball, and they have ads all over the uniform and all over just about everywhere you can imagine. There's an ad somewhere. There's a company name, and it's ugly. It really is ugly. And honestly, I think it is ugly putting them on jerseys. I'm not a fan of this. I don't like this. I understand you want to make the money, and they have a pretty good deal about the initial proposals to owners was for teams to keep 50% of the sponsorship money from the jersey ads, and for 50% to be added to the revenue sharing pool for all the teams. So everybody still gets money. So even if you're in Minnesota or Milwaukee and you're not in a big market like LA and New York, you're still going to be able to get some money out of it if you can't get a big deal like they might. I'm just not a huge fan. Nike's going to take over, which is a huge thing. Instead of Adidas anymore, it's in 2017, next season, or actually, I guess 2 seasons from now, because next season's really the 2016-17 season. So in 2017, the 2017-18 season, Nike takes over and have their jersey. So now they got to work around, okay, well, now they're going to have this. How are we going to work with it? Not that everybody's getting a brand new uniform change or anything like that, and it's not going to make a big deal, but I just don't like it. It's going to start off with a 2.5 by 2.5, and then it's going to be like, all right, what if we put one on the back? All right, what if we incorporate it into design so when they sweat, we see their logo come up on their back or their chest? Next thing you know, we're going to just be like those other places, those other leagues that just have sponsorships and ads all over the uniform, so you barely see the logo. You think the logo's a freaking ad. That's where it's going to get to. I don't like it. I don't think it should happen. I understand we all got to make money. There's more money to be made. This is not what you do. I don't like it. What I do like, though, and if you're in the Houston, Texas area, and I wish I heard about this sooner, I hope you go and visit. By the time this is uploaded, hopefully you will have a chance to go. You should. Houston Rockets Senator Dwight Howard is organizing a blood drive with his charitable D12 Foundation in honor of TNT reporter Craig Sager, who is battling acute myeloid leukemia. The drive will take place today, Wednesday, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time at the Toyota Center in Houston prior to the Rockets' regular season finale game against Sacramento Kings. So please go if you're in the Houston, Texas area. Please go do it. If I was, I would go do it. It's a huge thing. Now, hosting the blood drive in conjunction with Gulf Coast Regional Blood Center is the Gulf Coast Marrow Donor Program. Everyone who donates or attempts to donate will receive a commemorative T-shirt featuring an illustration of Howard and Sager with the hashtag SagerStrong. So please, please, please go do this. It's going to take just a little bit of your time. I understand it's on a Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. today only. Please go do it. Toyota Center in Houston. There's more information on the Houston Rockets. I'll put the link in the description as well. Please, please, please go do it. Again, if you're in the Houston, Texas area from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time at the Toyota Center in Houston, please go check it out. Go donate some blood to the D12 Foundation as well as the Gulf Coast Regional Blood Center. Please go do that. You get a free T-shirt. Pretty cool T-shirt. So with that, we have Kobe's last game. What are the expectations of that? I hope I hope they just win. I understand it's going to be tough because of the fact that Utah, obviously, no team was going to lay down. But Utah is fighting for a playoff spot. If they lose and Houston Rockets win, there could be an issue of them dropping out of the playoffs. That is huge for them, obviously. So they're going to want to win this game because obviously Houston's playing Sacramento, not really the toughest team in the league. And Jazz, you're playing the Lakers, second worst team in the league right now. I just hope that Kobe just balls out. I really do. Obviously, I want the Lakers to win just because of a Lakers victory. But this is Kobe's last game. Staples Center's at home. It's his last hurrah. It's his last game. It has to go out like this. He has to get a W. I hope he does. I hope he does so much. Because he deserves it after this organization has ruined this franchise for the next couple of years and has over the past few years. I hope Kobe Bryant just can go out on victory. And I also hope he can just literally just ball out. I hope he gets, 20-something points. Obviously, if he can go 40, which he's going to shoot at least 40 times, so at least that's 20 points, possibly. 50% shooter. And the head coach already said that, hey, we're going to give you more minutes than anybody. You're going to have the most minutes than you have all season. Thank God that Kobe has just been healthy this season, and they were able to keep him healthy all year in the way they played him. Just please, Lakers, please win this for Kobe. D'Angelo Russell, get over yourself. Nick Young, please get over yourself as well. Every single one of those young players, get over yourself. Do this for Kobe because this is your last time playing with the great. Do it for him. Get this victory. Dominate. Set up buckets for him and just get it in for him. Help him win this game in this last game. Also, the Golden State Warriors, they are looking for their 73rd victory in the regular season, which would be most in NBA history, but doesn't mean anything. Doesn't truly mean anything if they win it, but they lose in the playoffs and they don't win the championship. Now, let's not forget, there have been many teams in other leagues that have won the best record and have yet to win the championship. Main example, the New England Patriots, 16-0 in the regular season. They get to the Super Bowl and they lose to the Giants. It doesn't mean anything when you lose. The Seattle Mariners, 116 victories in the regular season. They lose. They don't even make the World Series. If the Warriors win 73 games, it's not going to mean a damn thing if they lose in the playoffs. If they lose in the finals, you're going to be that team saying, hey, you thought you were better than Jordan's team in the 72 Bulls, but you didn't win. They won the championship. That's why it means so much. You didn't. Now, obviously, it's not set in stone. They still might win it, but they could have a tough test. If the Jazz lose tonight and Houston wins, Houston takes that 8th seed. And so you could potentially be looking at the road to the playoffs, the road to the championship for the Golden State Warriors. You could have a series with Houston, then a series with potentially the LA Clippers, who have the third best defense in the NBA, and then possibly face the San Antonio Spurs. That is a ton of wear and tear on your team right there. And then if you beat the Spurs, potentially, then you possibly most likely play the Cleveland Cavaliers again with potentially a healthy Kyrie Irving, a healthy Kevin Love, something you didn't have last year. This is going to be a tough stretch. That's why they really want Utah to win, I guess. Do I think they get it? I think so. But I'm not going to be surprised because it is against the Grizzlies. And the Grizzlies, that last game against them, it was pretty physical. Zach Randolph, Draymond Green were going at it. I wouldn't be surprised to go at it again tonight. It's going to be huge. They want to play spoiler. They want to be the team that, no, you're going to stay at 72 wins, and we're getting ourselves in the playoffs. All right, even if I don't know if they're in the playoffs. But it's going to be great either way. And I'm going to watch both. There shouldn't be a fight about who's on ESPN, ESPN2. It doesn't matter. Some NBA news on a windy night with the temperature dipping into the 50 degrees after the first pitch. The Nationals improved to 5-1, the first time a Washington-based team had that record since 1951, ladies and gentlemen. While the Braves on the other side, they have fallen to 0-7 overall. Their worst start since opening the 1988 season with 10 losses. Could they do it again? Well, it's not looking too bright right now. They got Steven Strasburg, who's 3-0, and with the 0.53 ERA in his past 3 starts against Atlanta. Right now, he's 1-0 with a 1.50 ERA. And Braves, they got Matt Whistler with a no-decision record and a 5.40 ERA. Not looking too bright for Braves. Not looking too bright. And then on the opposite side, once more, you have the Baltimore Orioles, who are the only remaining undefeated team in the majors, and this is their best start since moving to Baltimore in 1954. The franchise went 9-0 as the St. Louis Browns to start the 1944 season. I mean, we go way back, ladies and gentlemen. Baltimore has had 11 hits versus Boston last night. It had at least 8 in every game so far, which is the first time the franchise has ever done so through 7 games. And I want to know what is the actual major league record for that. I was trying to look. I couldn't find it in time. I want to know what that. Justin Hardy said, quote, everybody trust one another. It's a really good lineup, and it's fun to be a part of, end quote. I'm sure it is when you're winning. I'm sure. That is it for today's show, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. We had a ton of news to talk about, a ton of college football news that took up majority of the time, a ton of NFL news, and we talked about the NBA. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do this for you guys. You guys have been tremendous supporters, and I truly appreciate it. Be sure to like and share it and favorite no matter where you're listening to. iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker.com, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker, I think everywhere, SoundCloud, we're everywhere now. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to share it with your friends and family. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show and become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. All links are in the description down below. Thank you so much for listening. As always, God first, God bless. And I will see you guys next Wednesday morning. I'm out. Peace.
Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever.
I didn't came way too far for me to stop it now. I didn't work way too hard just to drop it now. We came so